Hi there. I'm going to do this in several segments, and I'm going to start with theory students. For those of you in theory, what you're doing is going to feel different. And for those of you may be in advanced theory. So you've been there for a while. So I may be preaching to the choir. So skip this video. But what you're doing in theory is learning basically a new language. You're learning what you hear is coming out, well, and depending on if you're doing theory in voice or theory in stenotype, it's going to be different. But you're basically learning a new language, and you're doing all of that with what I call your conscious mind, your frontal cortex, your part of your brain that wants to understand how things work, and it wants to solve problems, and it wants to analyze things. And we'll talk more about that creature later down the line. But you're learning with your conscious awareness, your frontal cortex. You're learning with the part of your brain that is actually the slowest processing part of you as an entity on the planet. There's your conscious mind, and I think of that as, people say you use your brain 5 to 10% of the time. You use 5 to 10% of your brain, but that's not true. You're using all of your brain. You're just only consciously aware of 5 to 10% of it, because the other 95 to 90% is your subconscious. It doesn't, go tap, tap, hey, you, look at me, is this what I'm doing? It's running under the surface. It's subconscious. It's below your conscious awareness. It is programs. It is automatic behaviors that started whenever that part of you felt like there was a need for them to come into existence. That part of you, is fast. That part of you is like faster than the speed of thought. If this part of you that you're learning steno with, and I'm gonna call it voice machine, I don't care, it's steno. If you're learning this new language with the slowest part of your brain, which can process, I don't know, I've heard different numbers, but work with me here, 126 bits of information per second. Sounds pretty fast. 126. Your subconscious can process 2 million. So when you're studying, when you're trying to remember the strokes, the briefs, the phrases, where the hell do my fingers go? That's happening up here in an analytical mode. It's slow, it's laborious, and your brain learns by repetition. And so it's repeating those strokes, practicing those things is what's going to make it automatic. How does that happen? As you're practicing, as you're doing anything repetitively, it goes from being an element of your frontal cortex, your conscious mind, it drops down into your subconscious. It becomes an automatic running program. And if you're taking a test and you come across that word that doesn't come out automatically, it means you have not practiced that enough for it to be so automatic that it comes out automatically. So practice more. This is where the practice pays off the most. And honestly, I've seen this happen a couple of different ways, where the first things you've ever written are the things that are embedded in your subconscious most deeply. And I think it was, to give you an idea, when COVID hit, and I had been off my machine for 8 weeks at least, and I kind of thought, I don't know, maybe I'm retired. I had no idea, none of us did. Where's the world going next? And then I got a call to do a Zoom job, a Zoom depot. And so I always, was thinking steno as I'm, going about my daily life. You can't help it after a while. You dream in it, you think it, it's part of you. It's a second language. And I thought, Zoom up, oh God, I haven't even touched my machine in 8 weeks. Should I go practice? No, I'm not going to go practice, because if I go practice, I'm going to be using muscles that have not been used for 8 weeks. And when I finish, I'm going to be tired and hurting. And do I want to go into a job tomorrow morning feeling that way? No, I'm just going to show up. You never lose speed. Whatever speed you've been at, you never lose speed. So I show up the next day, and it was a little rocky start. It wasn't like, oh my God, where do my fingers go on the keys? Because it's automatic. I mean, after 44 years of writing on that machine, there are very few sounds, combinations of sounds, combinations of words that I have not written, although it does happen. And those are, boom, unfamiliar, and it will make me hesitate. That's the way our brain works. But I'm writing along, and I'm thinking, man, this is like, whoa, I'm on top of it. I can do this. And then all of a sudden, somebody said a word, and I don't know if it was indecipherable. It was something crazy. And I felt for a moment, my whole body froze. And I remember thinking, because I've practiced this, and in speed building, you'll learn, but I've practiced telling my brain, not in words, but in having an automatic, I crunch my toes is what I do. And that's its sign that, no, you don't talk to me right now. We keep writing, we keep writing, we keep writing. There's no brain chatter allowed right now. I crunched my toes, and immediately I literally felt this thing in my body. It went from the word I just heard, indecipherable, down like to the bottom of the barrel, like to the bottom of my subconscious, and it came back up, and it wrote in several strokes, indecipherable. I don't know how many strokes it was. It was craziness. And I remembered sitting there going, oh my God. That, I mean, I didn't think about, is there a brief? But that was what my brain started to go. Is there's a brief for that? I don't know. There might be, probably not. Maybe. Could I remember it? Doesn't matter. Now I've lost the whole sentence. But somewhere way down deep inside of me, I had written the word indecipherable, and my subconscious dove and grabbed it and came up to the surface, and we just kept writing. And it was incredible because I didn't get in the way. I didn't let this part of me get in the way, analyzing how I was going to write it. I just allowed it to be written because I had written it so many times. It was now part of me. It's now part of my steno internal programming. And that's why if you decide to bring on a brief and you like it, it's still going to take practice to make it familiar, to practice it enough to where it becomes automatic. Now, as you're going along in speeds, there will be times when your brain knows it's got 4 or 5 or more ways to write a word. And then your analytical mind is going to jump in and say, but there's a brief for that. Oh, she or he wrote it, you know, several strokes out, and then remembered there was a brief, and then came back and wrote it a different way the next time. Well, yeah, that's what we do sometimes, because your subconscious actually is so fast that it knows the word you're focusing on. It knows the words that just came before, and it actually can anticipate what sounds you're going to be hearing next. It knows before your brain recognizes, and it, in that instant, in that nanosecond, it is able to come up with the fastest way to write anything at any given moment if you stay out of the way. That's the hard part when you get into speed building, is you staying out of your own way. But don't worry about that today. Today, get in there and practice and practice and practice and practice and do every mode of learning that you can, because the more senses you involve in that conscious learning process, the faster and the more deep that learning is going to go. It's going to become you sooner. So see it, hear it, speak it, write it, look at it, watch it, make sentences out of it. Get creative. If you have a word that you're having trouble with, make something really pretty and put it on the wall. It was something you had to put your effort into, and now you're looking at it, and it'll instill into your subconscious, because your brain learns by repetition. The more you repeat, the more you practice, the sooner it becomes automatic, and then the sooner it becomes fast automatic. I love you guys. If you have any questions about, I don't know, what you're doing, I'm always available. The worst thing that can happen is you get buried under a pile of paper sometimes, because I'm a working reporter still, and I'll get to you when I can, or just be the squeaky wheel. Hey, I asked this question, you didn't answer me. Hey, I sent you a Facebook message, I didn't hear from you. Hey, just bug me. It's really okay. And it's not an interference in my life. I love this profession, and I want to be a person who has that passion to be able to say, I remember what it was like in school, and it sucked. And it doesn't pay anywhere near what being a certified reporter out in the field pays. That is where you're going. Don't lose sight of your why. It will take you to the end, to your paycheck as a reporter. Take care. Talk to you again. Bye.